You want to make some drinks? First, you got to go shopping. Hey guys, Tom here. Welcome back to the Underground. I got a great show for you today where we're going to talk about some basic bar setup. But first, we need to address the elephant in the room. No, not that elephant. This elephant. That's right, the GPU has a shop where you can go and pick up all the swag you need to let everyone know that you're a proud supporter and a member of the GPU family. We got to have world domination of GPU. Let everybody know what it's like to drink like a pirate and have a good time just hanging out with your family and friends, whether it's at your own home bar, at the beach, at the pool, wherever you go to hang out and have a good time. That's what GPU is all about. So I'll leave you a link in the description. So if you go since we just started, you opened up, there's going to be a discount code that you can use. It's going to be new GPU. It's right here, NEW GPU, where you can go put that in. You get a little bit of a discount to get us started and help you get started with your GPU wardrobe. We got hats. I don't have a hat yet. We got shirts, hoodies. We got some glassware, men, women, different styles, different colors, different designs. I'll show you some as we go along here, but just make sure you visit, links in the description, check out the GPU shop and get yourself some cool Grantham Pub underwear. Grantham Pub underwear. No, there is no Grantham Pub underwear. It's Grantham Pub Underground, where you can go and get yourself some cool shirts and everything you need. So, that being said, let's talk about today's topic. My mouth, I'm dry, I'm so excited. Bear with me. So, here's more so's. Today we are going to talk about bar setup. I had a subscriber who messaged me and said, Tom, what do I need to set up my bar so I can follow along and make the drinks that you make? Well, that is an interesting proposition, because if you have everything that we have, you are going to have a significant investment. But we can talk about a few things that I think for a basic bar setup would be good to have. And they're going to be broken down into a couple different categories. There's going to be clear liquors, brown liquors, cordials and liqueurs, and then flavorings, mixers, and miscellaneous, because that's going to be stuff that I can't think of right in my head. So we'll start with clear liquors. And the four that I am going to put into this category are vodka, gin, rum, and tequila. Let me backtrack by saying I'm going to talk about the basics, because when you get into especially like vodka and rum, there's going to be so many different varieties. Everybody's got flavors now, but for the basics, this is what you need. And you can buy any kind of these that you like. This is what we buy, this is what we like. Depends on your budget, your space, your taste. And if you go to the liquor store, wherever you go, if you go into a bar and they say, oh, I want, top shelf spirits or a top shelf drink, that's kind of the way it is at the liquor store. If you look on the bottom is all your junky stuff, what I would call your well brands, off brands that you never heard of. And then in the middle shelf is going to be your average brands, and then on the top shelf is going to be your more expensive stuff. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get a good bottle of vodka, 15, 20 bucks. If you're a vodka drinker, you know what you like. This is what we like. And again, the size of the bottle that you buy is going to impact what you spend. We like to buy the handles, they're called handles because they have a handle on them. Even the ones that don't have handles on them, we still call them handles, because we have the space and that's what we use. But you can certainly buy a 750, and that's going to last you a long time. So don't worry about getting, don't let the size of the bottle be your barometer of what you spend. Next, we have brown liquors. For me, that's going to be blended whiskey, bourbon, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because what am I trying to say? It'll come to me. Scotch and brandy. Now, again, bourbon to me is, these are like this, and this. They're all whiskey. Blended whiskey, bourbon whiskey, Scotch whiskey. Most people, me included, if I'm drinking whiskey, unless it specifically calls for blended whiskey, I'm going to use bourbon. I don't drink Scotch. I'm not really a Scotch guy, as you can see, because I need to have some Scotch. So I just have a little pint of Scotch and then brandy. There's a lot of, again, don't buy the bottom, buy the middle. I would consider this middle. I would consider this middle. We don't spend a lot of money. And when you get into different things, especially these two, and then to a certain extent this one, bourbon and Scotch, especially bourbon, has taken off exponentially over the last several years, where you can spend a fortune on different bourbons. Now that, as we go, I'll show you my different things. That what I'm showing you is just a fraction of what we have here. Because you see this in the show, but we also have down here, if you remember from our little bar tour after we built the bar, we have 5 or 6 more cabinets down here that are full. Like I showed you just that one bottle of vodka. Down here I have, as you can see, a whole cabinet full of vodka, different flavors, different brands. And that's going to be something I'm going to get into in a future episode. But again, same thing with bourbon. You have small batch bourbon, you have bottle and bond, you have different ages of bourbon, weeded bourbons. If you want to know more about bourbon, I did a podcast a while back just talking about bourbon, and I'll leave you a link if you're interested in that. But it just gets crazy, and you can see from my whiskey cabinet how much different stuff that we have. Same with Scotch. Like I said, there's blended Scotch. It's pretty much, as far as I know, just blended Scotch and single malt Scotch. Not being a big Scotch drinker, I'm not too in tune with all that, but excuse me. That's how that goes. Brandy, same thing. You have different ages of brandy, how fancy of a brandy you want to get, and then you can go into cognac, which is even fancier yet. To me, if something calls for cognac, I just use brandy. Next, we're going to talk about cordials and liqueurs, and they're going to be the flavorings in your drink. That's going to be in one of these cabinets, and that's going to be the things like this: peach schnapps, cream de cocoa, cream de menthe, your various schnapps. That's just Pandora's box in there, but that's what your flavoring spirits are going to be. The difference between schnapps and liqueur, we'll get into at some point. I'm not going to confuse you with that for now. And then you have some specialty liqueurs, like this is a vanilla liqueur. I have some ginger brandy, Southern Comfort, some this Aperol, which is a bitter liqueur. So you can see how it can really pile up quick. So next, let's talk about flavorings and mixers. For flavorings, I think the basics, it's about talking about like bitters. You can buy all kind of bitters. There's Angostura bitters, Patio bitters. This is some orange bitters. You can buy chocolate bitters. I would think one of these two for basic, especially if you like old fashions, things along that nature. Get one of these two, either Angostura or Patio. They're slightly different, and again, that's going to be something that goes to your taste. And then we have to talk about syrups. I have a whole myriad of syrups. I have agave syrup, simple syrup, orgeat, which is like an almond syrup, honey syrup, maple syrup. Yes, you use maple syrup in drinks. Different flavored syrups. I have ginger syrup sometimes. I have raspberry syrup. But I think for basic, to just get started, just make yourself some simple syrups, a little bit at a time. I make mine half and half. Some people make a rich syrup, which would be 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. I do equal parts. And that's going to last you a couple weeks in the fridge. You'll be able to tell it'll start getting cloudy and just funky looking. So that's something that you can make the day of your party or whenever you're having people over. If you're going to use those drinks, you don't really need a lot. Make, half a cup of each, and that's going to give you a good amount for what you're going to need for that day. What else? Mixers. Mixers can be anything from juices to sodas. I would recommend that you have club soda, tonic water. Here we drink a ton of ginger beer, so we always have that. Lemon juice, lime juice. There are things that you're going to need. Orange juice, pineapple juice, cranberry juice. And a little tip for you. We like pineapple and orange and whatnot. Instead of buying little cans, I buy the big jars, and I'll freeze them. I have, the silicone trays where this is, I think 2 ounces or 3 ounces, I forget. I think this is 3, this is 1, and I make little ice cubes of the juice. That way, whenever I need it, if I just need an ounce or 2, I just pop out a cube. It defrosts in no time, and I'm not wasting a whole can or bottle of orange juice that I'm not going to use right away. Again, club soda, tonic water, sour mix. You have to watch. A lot of sour mixes can be junky. Happens. They don't sponsor the show, but they could if they want. You can make your own sour mix if you want. I had a video a while back where I talked about basic bar setup, and that was more hardware. But I think I'll leave you a link. I think there's a recipe somewhere. I have a recipe for homemade sweet and sour mix, which I'll put in the description here. But this is actually a good brand. It's organic. It's made with sugar as opposed to corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. You got to watch that stuff. Oh, and speaking of which, then you're going to need probably some sodas. And I would probably say just 2 more or less, which would be some kind of lemon lime soda or some kind of cola. Again, we tend to we don't drink soda here, but if we do and we need it for a cocktail, we will buy the Mexican style of the sodas, because they're tend to be made with sugar as opposed to high fructose corn syrup. Taste wise, if you subscribe and watch, if you watch here, I'm guessing maybe you also watch How to Drink. He actually just did a video of can you tell the difference between sugar and high fructose corn syrup? That was a little bit mixed, but we don't drink it because high fructose corn syrup is just not good for you. I mean, we're drinking enough. We're doing enough to ourselves just drinking all the cocktails we drink. We don't need to complicate things with high fructose corn syrup, right? And then finally, you're going to need things for garnish. Like we have sugar, nutmeg, cherries. We have a couple different kind of cherries in there. We have these are fancy cherries. We have the regular bright red cherries. Speaking of bright red, I forgot something. Grenadine. You're also going to need grenadine, which is the red syrup. Again, we make our own. It's just basically cooked down. It's a combination of basic cooked down pomegranate juice, but you can buy some. They make alcoholic, non-alcoholic, whatever you like. The same with cherries. They have fancy cherries, the plain bright red cherries. You can buy spiked cherries. You know, we like our spiked cherries around here. And what am I missing? Am I missing anything? And then just fruit, fresh fruit, lemons, limes, oranges, pineapple if you want for your tropical fruits. And that is about it. I think I've covered everything, right? So that's your basic bar setup. Oh, no, I didn't cover everything. Don't worry about getting every little thing. If there is a specific drink you want to make, and don't buy a big bottle if it only needs a little bit and you are just gonna make one drink to see if you like it. Go to the liquor store, buy the little nips. You can buy nips. You can buy, I showed you before, like pints of various things. They have 200 milliliter bottles, 375s, these little bad boys. So don't worry about getting every little thing. Get the flavor in a little bottle or a smaller sample of what you like, and if you decide you like it, then you can go and buy the bigger bottle. So that's it. I think I've got everything. And then besides that, you're just going to need your glassware, your ice. I have another, like I said, another show where we talked about basic bar hardware. Maybe that was a while ago. Maybe at some point we'll get into that again because I've changed my setup since then. But you don't really need a lot just to get yourself going. Whatever glass you have is going to be fine. I don't want to get into that here because I've already given you enough to think about. But maybe another video we'll talk about my newest, what I think you should need for hardware in your bar, glassware, and whatnot. So that's it, guys. Hey, I know that's a lot, and especially if it's your first time here. You know, of the people that stop by the Grantham Pub Underground, only about 10 or 15% are actual subscribers. So if you're here and you're not a subscriber, do yourself a favor and subscribe. We have a good time here. We got a lot going on. And this is the perfect time to jump on and catch up. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the bell. That way, when something comes out, you can be notified and check it out. And also, give us a thumbs up. That really helps us out, helps us grow. We really want to grow and get everybody having a good time with us. So give us a thumbs up, share the video if there's somebody that you know that would like it. And don't forget, go get your GPU swag. But mostly just you being here is all that we require and all that really matters to us. So I'm out of here. That's it. Get your bar set up. If there's something else that you'd like to talk about or any kind of drinks that you want to go over, have us make and see what's what, let me know in the comments. Reach out to me on social, whatever you got, and we'll see what we can get together for you. So until the next time, when we meet together right here at the Grantham Pub Underground, we've had it for so long, you think I'd be able to say the name. Come see us again, and until then, remember, if you're going to drink, drink like a pirate, but do it responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Be good to yourself. We want you here, back with us, so be careful out there. And Until then, I'll save a seat at the bar for you. Cheers.